Well, welcome TCN World. We're interrupting your day this morning for a short conversation and introduction, or you may catch this at another time this week. We certainly hope your thoughts and plans are on the Church Network National Conference, which is the 8th, 9th, and 10th, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of July. And we're excited today to introduce another one of our title sponsors, Bank of the West. And I have with me today Jeremy Moore. Jeremy is a principal with the bank and is a great friend of congregations. Jeremy, welcome.
Good morning, Phil. Glad to be here with you. Thanks for taking a few minutes to talk.
Yeah, we appreciate it. First, I want to say a very strong thank you to Bank of the West. Bank of the West and the Church Network, our association, have a long history together. The bank has been extremely supportive of this association and of congregations that aren't necessarily their customer, but they're always willing and want to help us that are in the church world to do a better job of managing our money, getting loans and doing that work. So Jeremy, thank you to the bank.
We have been honored to be a big part of this for a long time. I know I first went to the Church Network, the NACBA conference back in 2005. I was looking back at the calendar, was the first event that I went to. So
yeah.
The bank has been sponsoring for a long time, and we're excited to continue to do that, even in this unusual circumstances we have this year.
That's right. So for those of you who don't get the NACBA reference, those of us that have been around a while, yeah. Well, I go back a lot further than that. We won't talk about that. So the National Association of Church Business Administration is our official name and we're doing business as the Church Network because we wanted to pitch a broader tent. And so those of us who've been around for a number of years, more than 5 or 6, will often refer to the organization as NACBA. Well, we have 5 title sponsors this year. And of course, these folks are the folks who've been major sponsors at our in-person conferences. But with the current situation, us moving to virtual, these folks have remained strong supporters with us. And you'll see Bank of the West is listed here. I want to be sure you know that's a hyperlink that takes you over to the Bank of the West religious institution banking. Obviously, the bank does more than just religious support, but they are a strong player in that arena. And I hope if you're looking for a banking relationship or looking for a loan as you move towards construction or renovation or other work that you need to take a loan, you'll give a look at Bank of the West. Anything you want to say about that, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think you mentioned the hyperlink there right on the website. Certainly take a look at that. That'll tell you a little bit specifically about our work with churches. And then, of course, you can bounce around there and look at all the other industries and expertise that the bank has. But our group, it's been unique that I lead. All we do all day, every day is serve the house of worship market. So, about 98% Christian churches. We do have a handful of synagogues and other faith groups represented as well. But it's been a pretty neat thing to be able to, have my work and mission really kind of coexist in a banking setting. That's pretty unheard of, and especially for a large bank. Bank of the West is a big West Coast bank, and in this specific industry, we're a nationwide presence. Our specialty, you mentioned earlier, some of our TCN folks are not necessarily our target market, but we're really about serving the church. So often, that says, hey, we're probably not the best fit for you, but, try this one or this one or this one. And then certainly for a subset, we have several TCN board members who are clients of ours. And we really kind of specialize in that large multi-site ministry has really become kind of our sweet spot within it. So pretty neat to be able to do what we do for the church.
One of the things I've noticed during this very unusual time and all of the uncertainty and confusion about PPP loans and the SBA and all that is the bank has been great. Whereas you've mainly had to work with your clients, you've been great at providing information and support for all of us. And I know the very first call I made when we were considering what we ought to do, even though we're not a direct client with you, was to you. And what I need to know, how can you help me? So I'll just give a public shout out to how much I appreciate that and the work that you've done. Tell us a little bit about your participation in the conference. I know you were lined up to do a live workshop during the week.
Yeah, we've of course we had some stuff set up before everything changed on us, and we're actually taking kind of an existing idea of what our church is doing to grow, but now we're really kind of fixing it in on, hey, what are we seeing out there that churches are doing that is leading to success in this season? So not just generic, growth trends that we're seeing, but hey, and specifically, obviously, from our bent, as a bank, financially, right? So, what are churches doing that is positioning themselves for growth financially? That's really going to be kind of the crux of what I'm going to be talking about and sharing some stories, so that we've seen firsthand in our work with hundreds of large ministries across the country. And then also, what I'm counting on is that we'll leave plenty of time for Q&A and discussion, because I think that's really the big value that we all need more of right now. When we can't get together in person, is when we're getting together in this kind of a venue, that we can have some healthy dialogue and bounce back what's working, what's not, do more of this, do less of that. So I'm really looking forward to a good time on Friday. I think it's at 9 a.m. Central, so 10 o'clock my time, pretty early on the West Coast if that's where you're at. But looking forward to should be a good event.
Yeah, that 9 o'clock, a little early on the West Coast, we had to realize when you do a live conference, you show up in a time zone and everybody functions in the time zone. But when you're doing virtual like this, I know I'm in Arlington, Texas, you're in Tennessee today. And so the gift of technology is great. We did want to be sure, because of the Q&A aspect, that we had your presentation as a live presentation. So folks will be online together, be able to open mics, be able to have conversation and ask those questions. And one of the things I've noticed is there's a lot of peer-to-peer learning in those questions, because you as a professional can guide that conversation and be sure that the right things are being said and so forth. So, well, thanks for jumping in today and spending some time with me. Anything else you want to say as we're wrapping this up?
Just appreciate all the work that you and the Church Network continue to do to facilitate, like you said, much of what is done is really facilitating peer learning. All right. So where we can be, catalysts and advocates for that, we want to help and certainly want to be part of the process and help the church continue to thrive any way that we can.
One of the things I'm thinking about, Jeremy, that's going to be a downer this year for those who have been at our conference and know you guys is your table at the trade show is always full of best giveaways. So we're all going to be struggling with that here.
I may have a handful of pens with me at the house here, so if anybody gets in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area this week, we might be able to hook them up.
Yeah. So if they're desperate,
no bears.
If they're desperate, you might be able to get a care package their way. So, well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time today, and we look forward to this week. Just on the ticker on the bottom of the screen, there is information. If you've not registered yet, there's still time to do that. July 8th, 9th, and 10th. And that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week. I realize this will be out there longer, but we hope you'll consider registering and coming, whether you had an association with the Church Network in the past or not. We would love to have you. You don't have to be a member to participate. Thank you very much. And thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Phil. See you soon.